Hey guys, welcome to Kakao Academy channel, and today I'd like to talk about singletons in Java. I'll try to answer such questions as what singleton, what ways we have to create singletons in Java, using Enum as singleton, and do we have any alternatives to using singletons in Java. So first of all, let's try to answer the question what a singleton is. So singleton is simply a class that is instantiated exactly once per your program. Singletons typically represent either a stateless object, such as a function, or a system component that is intrinsically unique. So let's say we have a program that resembles a car plant or car factory, and we know that we have multiple models, so we can have a class called a car, for example. From there we can extend to different models. So I'm a huge fan of Ford, so let's say we've got Ford Bronco, Ford Mustang, Ford F-150, etc. And then we obviously gonna get multiple instances or entities of each of those cars. So such classes will be regular classes in Java. However, if we need to count our cars, calculate how much money we spend on each car, etc., we probably need an accountant. So let's say we have one accountant per plant, and such class as accountant can be represented as a singleton. So let's switch from here to IDE, and I'll try to cover the same concept with the code. Alright guys, prior to showing you the ways we create singletons in Java, I would like to create some abstraction levels of regular classes to demonstrate the difference. So first of all, let's create an interface called car, and our interface is going to have such methods as get car, or just get model name, and obviously we need to provide the return value string, and also get year manufactured. Let's see if I can spell it right from the first time. Yeah, I did it. All right, from here we can create an abstract class that is going to implement the interface. Okay, let's see. Implements car. Awesome. And we have two methods to override. Then obviously we're gonna set it as, actually we can set it as abstract class, because car on its own doesn't make too much sense. That said, we're gonna need such fields as a model, and also year manufactured. All right. From here we can create a constructor. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna return model and year manufactured. Awesome. So so far we have an interface car with two methods, get model name, get year manufactured. We implement those methods in abstract class car impl, and let's say we would like to manufacture trucks. What we need a class that would represent a truck, so we can simply call it truck. and it extends car impl. And let's see, it's complaining, but not for long. All right, good to go. So we're going to main demo, and what we do, we create an instance. So this is the difference between a singleton and a regular class in Java. So here we have a class called truck. We can create multiple instances of the same class. So for example, I will say car, my first truck is going to be a new truck. Let's give it a model F-150 and year manufactured 2021, probably hybrid. Okay, so let's test our code and see that it's working. Let's do my first truck, get model name. Let's run our code. You see, it's working. Awesome. Alright guys, I went ahead and created several instances of the truck class. Each instance has a different model name. I even have Bronco here, 1994, same as O.J. Simpson used back in the days to run away from the police. So if I run this piece of code, you see that each output represents a different model name that each of the instances of a truck class has. And the way we create those instances by simply using a new truck, there is a class name, and parameters required by the constructor. However, this is the classic way to instantiate a particular class in Java, but when it comes to singletons, we have two common ways, and I say common because we definitely have more, but two common ways to implement singletons would be based on keeping the constructor private and exporting a public static member to provide access to the sole instance. So let's start from approach number one. Let's create a class called accountant. And in this approach, member is actually a final field. So let's see how it works. What we have is public static final accountant. So as you can see, we instantiate an accountant class within the accountant class itself. Seems a little bit complicated, but stay with me, you'll see it's quite simple. And we call it an instance. I'm pretty sure if you're familiar with certain frameworks written in Java, you see keyword instance using a lot. So basically what it is, usually if you see something like that, you know right away that this class is a singleton. And here is our instantiation. That's it, guys. Now the only thing we need is a constructor. However, constructor is going to be private because we do not want to instantiate an accountant class from outside of the accountant class. Sorry for repeating myself, but it's important to say it. Okay, why are you complaining? Yes, I know. Okay. And what do we want the accountant class to do? So let's say public string get car price. Now what, since we're working with trucks, get truck price, and I'll take model name. Okay, so what do we want to return? Return model name equals F-150. This is our favorite truck. If it equals AF-150, we're gonna say it costs. Well, let's take the XLT model. Whoever is familiar will understand. If it's not, for the sake of example, if it's not F-150, let's return as undefined. I break all the practices here, but guys, this is just for the sake of an example. Right, so we have an accountant class, which is a singleton, and we will really soon see why. And a method that it has would be get truck price. Okay, so switch back to our main demo class. So what we can do here is the following. Instead of saying something like accountant and accountant, new accountant, you see it's not gonna work. It says accountant has private access, and this pretty much tells me that do not, or you won't be able to instantiate the accountant class. What we can do instead is the following. We do is accountant. So since we're reusing it within the class itself, we can have it as a constant, defined as a constant. Private static final accountant. And excuse me. If you remember, constants are usually defined in Java by capitalizing the whole word. So accountant. And what we do, simply accountant instance. That's it, guys. So this line of code is completely and absolutely and righteously reusable no matter where you want it to be reused. So for the sake of the example, I use it in the main demo class, but if later on I have multiple packages and I need to use certain functionality that the accountant class provides me with, I can always use the same piece of code and call our accountant singleton. So just to make sure I've got it right from the first time, let's get a quick output. So accountant get truck price, and they said that the truck we're dealing with is F-150. Let's see. And boom, you see it's working. Awesome. Now, as promised, there is a second way to create a singleton in Java. One of the many, by the way, but the second among the most commonly used. So the second way approach to implementing singletons would be having the field right here as defined as private, but instead what we can do is something like that. So we can simply return this instance and if we go here to fix an error, this would be accountant Right, we need to have a static. Okay, so personally, this is my preferable way of doing it. First of all, we do stick to the concept of encapsulation, and we do not expose unnecessary fields in the class. And second of all, later on, it provides more flexibility, and in general, I believe approach of hiding actual instance of our accountant class, in other words, Singleton, underneath get instance method, uh, is more readable, and probably you'll see in frameworks written in Java this approach as more commonly accepted. So let's see if our code works. Let's run it again. Oh yeah, and just to make sure I did not miss anything. Okay, and fine. Awesome. Now, in addition to having these two ways of instantiating or creating, I would say, singletons in Java projects, we can use an enum, which, in my personal opinion, is a way more elegant way of doing it. So let's, for example, create a new enum. Java class. Let's call it mechanic, and enum will be instance, and let's say get track fixed method. We're gonna return a string, and you know what, let's make it void, and instead I'm gonna provide an output saying your track is fixed OJ. Awesome. So let's get to main demo class again and see if our mechanic singleton works. Private static final. And by the way, guys, as you might notice, I do use access modifiers a lot, including specifying static or dynamic methods and fields. This is a very, very good practice to restrict as much as possible in your code. So by specifying private, you're basically saying that I want this field to be private to this class only, and I don't want to use accountant of main demo field anywhere else in my code, only in main demo itself. So mechanic. Awesome. So we declared our mechanic constant. Let's see if our mechanic is ready to fix our track. You know what, to clean up a little bit the output, let's comment this out and something like that. Mechanic dot get track fixed. Oops. Oh, I forgot that I do void instead of string as a return value, so simply mechanic get track fixed. Let's see if it works. All right, it works as expected. And I also promised you to talk about possible alternatives to using singletons in our code. And what we could do instead would be relying on static methods of a particular class. So let's say we would like to paint our cars. What we can have as a regular class painter. All right. So what we do here, we do not instantiate this class at all, but as a rule of thumb, it's a good practice to protect your class from a bunch of errors and create a private constructor. Let's make it private. That would guarantee this class remaining not instantiated. So what we can do here is the following. We would like to paint our truck, right? And instead of declaring an instance of a painter every single time in our code, as we did before, what we do instead, we use public static methods. So public static, let's do void again, paint my truck and specify color. Color, paint my truck color. So, and output, your truck is null plus color. Awesome. Let's check our code. So you see, I do not instantiate anything at all. I do not declare anything at all. All I do is call the class painter, call the method paint my truck, and specify color. I want it to be painted in camo. Let's try our code. Comment it out first. Your truck is now camo. Awesome. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to talk about in regards to singletons in Java. Please leave your comments below in case you have any questions. I will be more than glad to assist you. Thank you and goodbye.